So this one is called The Fear of Love. Love is a word that easily skims through our lips. Girls cut their wrists and dudes kill for it. I sit in the county jail cell. I write your name on the wall. With this tonight, I disgrace myself. I speak to you with my soul, but you just stand there, staring, and the doors closing. I stay in the street with no money. Nobody knows my name and nobody cares. I think about the past to get to my future. I stay paranoid with the fear of losing you. I would lose my life for you to show my love for you, but I couldn't leave you with no one to love. This one is using a Pongo prompt that I did at Echo. It's called Self-Portrait. I am painting my self-portrait. For this work, I have chosen the colors of aqua, purple, and yellow. The aqua stands for my anger, the purple for pain, and the yellow stands for my personality. The background of my self-portrait will have fire because my life has been painful. In my self-portrait, I will be holding the ashes of Andrea because she was the most important person in my life. I would like to give my self-portrait to my mother because she appreciates the way I am. The title of my self-portrait will be My Pain.
Grievance box for youth who pass through juvenile detention. Bolted to a windowsill, chipped and gray, about as wide as an index card and about as deep. Such a box could never hold the grief of even one childhood forced through these halls. One who never knew his dad, lost his mother to heroin, not dead, just gone. One handcuffed to meth, hoping against night, this time rehab and juvie might work. One just 15 who lost a baby while under guard. The small slot demands a grievance be folded many times. Small rusted lock asks if the key has gone missing, like so many things in these lives. Missing like the boxes that should have been where they live. Box in the bedroom of the 8-year-old to stop a molesting foster brother. Box in the drug-lined alleys of Capitol Hill to shout the absence of any friend in the world. Box in the living room where a drunken father showed his son what rape looks like. I think what's needed here is not this tiny gray fortress to cache a private grief. It's a tin can on a string a child can pull taut, a string to a loving ear, a string to carry a voice. So I have a couple others that are not really on the middle that I wanted to share. And this one also is pretty some strong imagery. And this one came out of a conversation with my father, who is 30 years my senior, so he goes back to, grew up in the early part of the 20th century. And it's called The Brother Hung, lynching at St. Joseph, Missouri, 1935. And if you were a boy of 9 and black, saw your teenage brother lynched, burned by a mob on the courthouse square, where St. Joseph's finest stood by serving, protecting an order that cared nothing about protecting and serving you, could you not be forgiven if your blood smoldered for generations? And if you were a boy of 9 and white, heard but did not see what this mob had loosed in your own town square, from a pulpit heard a truth like a trumpet that damnation awaited all that so much as witnessed this murder, this incineration of God's child, could you not be forgiven if you drew toward that church, blind to how many such sins it had forgiven? And if you, white, and since you were a boy, wondered why your white father cared so much that you love across color even when you lived on the white side of the red line, why he made such a point of you knowing Mr. Foster, who drove a garbage truck, always a used tricycle or a mostly intact chest of drawers stacked on top. Wondered but waited to ask why until he passed 90, when he told the story of the brother hung, burned, the priest in his homily. Could he not be forgiven some gladness at his childhood in St. Joseph, trumpeting him to love, but be left wondering in that town square that night where stood St. Joseph, patron of happy death?
The poems that I'm first going to read, a couple that honor a couple youth that one I worked with, one that I was just really impressed by, honestly. And I come back to his poems a lot. But this poem is called, and this is from, my last year in the juvenile detention center. It's called The Bigger Guys. See, I wanted to knock out the bigger guys, bullies and villains, but not just in the rings, inside the stadium buildings, but the rings of life, the bully they call strife, wreaking havoc among my people, strife the bully that shuns my people, strife the bully that hung my people, so they didn't want to be among my people, sick dogs put on cloths and said, run my people, and not long ago put guns to my people, took sons from my people, whipped them until they sang all day, out in the sun, oh my people, victory is soon to come to my people. Yeah, kind of incredible. I mean, this is a teenager writing. I wish I could write like that. And I have another one, if I can just find it. I did not organize myself very well, because I never know what I want to read until I get there and see people and kind of hear people, and I want to give you something a little bit different from what you've heard already, because I'm at the end, so I want to keep you here with me. So here's another poem. This is one that a poet I wrote with in the juvenile detention center, and the first day he said, you look like my sister. And that was interesting to hear, and immediately we bonded, and he just kind of sat with me and spoke out loud and wrote this incredible poem. It's called Writing Rhymes. Observations, reservations, there's not a lot of communications behind these white walls. I walk through these white halls, I'm locked up behind these white bars. I miss the day we used to steal cars. I used to always be off the bars. Days go by, no weeks, I can't remember the last time I kissed my mama's cheek. I never really used to think, now it's too late. I keep praying that they will crack them gates, all this hate, anger, despair. I wonder who really cares. It feels like there's a million stairs everywhere I go. I walk slow. Deep down, I have no hope. I remember when I used to have to sell dope just to get by. Inside me, it made me pry. To me, I was ruining families' hopes, dreams. I wonder what you would do if you were me.
Pongo, what I have here for you is the feelings and some of the ideas that I gathered while I was there, and we'll still continue to go back again this year, but things are changing there. So without, and thank you, Richard, for accepting me when I went to talk to you, and all the wonderful volunteers, like they're all sitting back there. This is called Rage. Some people in this world are walking volcanoes, waiting to explode. We react bewildered, we tend to criticize without compassion, without asking, without offering help, without concern. We go on with our daily lives. Meanwhile, the broken continue to break, crumbling down on our streets, our parks, our yards, our homes. Are we all really numb, unconsciously waiting for that ephemeral dream, clawing all miseries into a sheath of forgetfulness? We, the conscious living, need to offer comfort with our compassionate words, our healing breath, our open hearts. There is nothing to lose but another luminous life under the bright skies, behind detention walls. No one knows the feeling, only the cold walls, nor the silent tears shed on the cement slab. And those kids always have a lot to tell us. And sometimes I think of silence as either a fearful environment or the silence where they can flourish from within. The interpretation could be completely either way. Frustration. Feelings bottled in, words unsaid, fed by burning fire, rage grown within, tongue cinched, nailed down to the responsibility post to be polite. Carried the bile inside until it burst, exploding, green toxic liquid words flowing down his veins, spitting out words, sharp nails, piercing egos, blinding reasons, hurting the love given, open, tender, through soft ears, plugged with vile words of grave thoughts, blackened tongue, twisted approach to reason, the unreasonable. The next poem is titled Slam, and this is from the very first day that I walked into the facility. Slam. The air behind these walls is heavy. Here the minds mature faster. Young men and ladies separated without pride or prejudice. Their scarred skins puncture flesh healed. Black, yellow, brown, and white, shot at, punched, kicked, their broken bones and spirit, humbled by the cheap commodity, cement slab, 2 blankets, and a pillow. Cold cinder blocks, walls frame the steel doors. Some have inscribed their names, symbols, numbers, secrets on those walls. Everyone has a story to tell. Encaged, separated, rejected from society, everyone wonders how long their sentence will be. The number on the wristband tells their story. There are no weekends here, no birthday parties, or fun Friday nights. In this place, days are longer. Only their minds can escape the monotony by reading, writing poems, fantasizing, healing their mistakes. Too young to hold a gun, old enough to die. Patiently, time will pass while they persevere, building the promise to themselves to be righteous, to overcome their sadness and suffocation, to show the world they don't deserve this isolation. They examine their flaws while they sleep, to restore the broken souls, to wake up to the chirping birds perched up on the highest boughs, to breathe air of freedom, to step away from the threshold, to hear the loud sound of the heavy steel door slam for the last time behind their back.